Tonight, an evening magazine learned the secrets of making commercials right here in San Francisco.
Then you'll see a man attempt something that has never been attempted before, the climb of Pikes Peak in a wheelchair.
And I'm Bob Sarlatte. Tonight, gardening. It'll be informative, it'll be fascinating. It'll feature me.
Okay, the gang's all here. Good evening.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jan Yanehiro, and tackling my neck is Oliver here, and above us is his friend, no, sister, I guess.
Yes, this is Thelma over here, and I'm Richard Hart.
Oh, great. Oh,
no, they
hi.
over there. Look over there.
Do you know what is the #1 attraction in cities today? You think
baseball, football?
Okay.
No, these critters. Zoos attracted more people.
And we're here at the San Francisco Zoo, by the way, and maybe someday Oliver and his sister might be stars, you think?
Right now, they're playing with microphones. Look, Oliver, that is a microphone over there. Listen, if you want to find out about microphones and cameras and all that stuff and maybe become a television star yourself, we're going to introduce you to a man now who just might have the answer. Gregg Snazelle. For 28 years, Gregg Snazelle has had a dream. The dream that San Francisco would one day become a major production center for commercials and other films, right up there with Hollywood and New York. Since 1954, he has devoted practically all of his time and money to that dream.
Roll tape. I picked San Francisco first and then said, that's where I'm going to develop a company. It didn't make a lot of sense. It should have been Los Angeles or New York. It's not so much the energy of the whole Northern California area, I think. People are friendly here. They're loving. They're concerned.
Gregg Snazelle is known the world over as a producer, director, and cameraman. His studio, Snazelle Films, is the oldest commercial production house on the West Coast and the largest soundstage north of Hollywood. His work here has won every award there is for making commercials, including the Clio, the Oscar of the advertising world. You've probably been watching his hits all of your life.
Dynamite.
Chronicle.
Right. WZZP FM 106. A surprisingly different radio station.
Commercials, to me, are really the forerunners of almost any technique in filmmaking.
Really?
The fast cut really was the television commercial concept. And then 2 years later, you'll eventually see something like that in a feature film. A lot of the special effects in commercials appear in commercials first and then eventually wind up in feature film work.
Gregg didn't always look at life through a lens. For a brief time, he was an actor, singer, and dancer in the early days, the live days of television. But in a way, he's the inheritor of a family skill, a family tradition. His father was one-time court photographer to the royal family, a super photographer who taught little Gregg just about everything he knew.
So I'd say, come on, get a camera and we'll go out and shoot. And I'd be fumbling around with exposure meters and all these expensive cameras. And he's got some World War I relic camera and just shooting the pants off of me. And so you don't need all those things. He said it's really with the... And one of the things that he constantly kept trying to teach me, and I really almost subconsciously already had it growing up with him, was he said, it doesn't matter what kind of a camera you have. If you don't have the eye, you're not a shooter.
Even today, Gregg prefers to do his own camera work and his own directing. He says he likes the control, not having to consult a committee for every move. He must be doing something right. His clients have included the biggest corporations in the world, Levi Strauss, Chevrolet, Coca-Cola, and his current favorite, the Jump for Joy Toyota spots.
What I find interesting on every time we're casting Toyota, everybody who comes in says, I've never worked on Toyota, but I will jump for free for Toyota.
Let's break for lunch. Okay. The totally new four-wheel drive Toyota Tercel wagon. You need the extra value of Toyota Tercel's four-wheel drive. Just flip the cards long before I get to page flip.
My line is right, so I don't need a cue card. I have perfect memory, not perfect eyesight. I can remember right, right?
You need the extra value of Toyota Tercell's four-wheel drive.
Right.
Right.
To me, the business, I live it and eat it and breathe it 24 hours a day. As long as I've been in it, every day directing or shooting is more exciting to me because there is never a point where you feel like you've really got this thing down pat.
Don't drag it now. It's not Gone with the Wind. All right, we'll shoot, guys.
But there is no formula. And it's like having a gun put at your head every day, saying we're starting all over from scratch and trying to do something different.
When Gregg first started this business, everyone told him he couldn't do it. He couldn't stay in San Francisco and earn a living making films. You had to go to New York or Hollywood to do that. Gregg went to both places, and he hated it.
And slate.
One problem with growing in San Francisco was consistently finding good professional talent. So Gregg said, if you can't find them, why not make them? Right here in your own workshop.
You love him, but not what he does to his clothes.
A class is more than 30 students prepared for a semester just like any college semester, with lectures, guest instructors, and tough exams. In one pop quiz, Gregg passes out commercials that no one has seen before. Each student has only 5 minutes to look it over, memorize it, and get ready to deliver it before a camera.
Oh. Powerful things sometimes come in small packages.
Want to be precise and to the point? We'll try a flare ultrafine.
So get the bounce back in your game with Wilson's tennis balls.
It goes beyond mere tobacco taste.
Why, a penny saved is nothing.
I did it as a way to develop a pool of talent. What happened was that it was too successful and that the people would wind up doing as much work as they could do in the market and then would go off to LA or New York. So I found myself constantly every 6 months to a year trying to develop another pool of talent.
Only cost a penny.
Gregg Snazelle is quite at home behind a television camera. He's at home behind a motion picture camera on the set of a commercial, or just out on the hillside snapping Polaroids. He's at home, that is, so long as the view through the lens is his home, San Francisco.
It's, to me, a very romantic, classy city. It's probably the last great city in the United States. It's my city.
That Datsun 200SX commercial you've been seeing on television lately is one of Gregg's latest efforts, and he's just completed an Olympics-themed commercial for Hostess Cupcakes. You'll be seeing that a little closer to Olympic time.
Thelma loves to swing. Thelma and Oliver were raised like brother and sister, but they're really not. Thelma, you're from Fresno. Oliver is from San Diego, and guess what? They'll be celebrating a birthday this weekend.
That's right. They're both celebrating their 3rd birthday. They were born about a day apart, so there are 2 days, Saturday and Sunday at noon at San Francisco Zoo here. It'll be a celebration, and you kids are invited.
Go to the children's playfield, and you can say happy birthday in person to Thelma and Oliver. All right, stay with us, even though we'll take a short break. When we come back, Bob Sarlatte will be gardening in the garden.
And we'll take part in an amazing challenge to take on Pikes Peak in a wheelchair. Stay with us.
Morning in central Mexico. The familiar tolling of the cathedral bells announces the start of a new day. A day that brings exciting news. News that will spread through the cobblestone streets, past whitewashed adobe buildings of this awakening town, till it reaches the open-air market. The news? The American has returned. Tim Hansen has returned to buy some of the world's finest citrus fruits for the fantastic Hansen's natural sodas he's created. Hansen's lemon lime, grapefruit, and mandarin lime sodas made from only natural ingredients. Have an all-natural Hansen's and taste where you've never been.
Tonight on Nightcast, the swallows that are standing in the way of the computer age, and a final word on where the martini was born. That and more on Nightcast at 11.
aren't these tiny chicks cute?
These are hawks actually being fed by a glove that looks like a hawk because they should think that they're being fed by their own kind.
We don't want them to be imprinted on humans, for instance. Now, these are Harris hawk chicks, and Harris hawks became extinct here in California, and now, through a special program here at the zoo, they are reintroducing them to the native state.
We'll tell you more about them in just a moment, but first, here's our own Bob Sarlatte in the garden.
So anyway, I'm talking to your daughter, my wife, and she says that she grows great tomatoes. I say, wait a second, I grow great tomatoes. She doesn't even know what a tomato is.
This is me, Bob Sarlatte, on the lookout for American hot stuff and taking part in the latest trendy American pastime, gardening.
Well, anyway, getting back to the story, I tell her you've got to plant the asparagus next to the tomatoes. It keeps the roots from the nematodes. And she says to me, what is a nematode? And I said, are you kidding me? Where have you been all your life?
According to one estimate, we Americans grow $16 million in garden products every year. Whether it's in the backyard or on the balcony, we're planting more and more. And it's not just a matter of economics, it's becoming the thing to do.
Excuse me, I'm getting a garden together at my place, and a couple ways to go here. You can go for your flowers or your vegetables. Now these will be flowers, right?
But whether you decide to grow a few head of lettuce or a whole regiment of rhubarb, it's best to start here at the Plant Nursery. They can tell you what's hip in horticulture.
Okay, David, what are people growing and buying these days, huh?
Well, flowering plants, large flowers, big flowering plants, instant color. Herb gardens are very popular right now.
Very hot, I would guess, huh?
Yeah, herb gardens are hot.
Oh, you know, Dave, gardener to gardener, I call everything a fuchsia.
Well, occasionally you'll be right.
Oh, here's a fuchsia. Now, these edible?
No.
How about camellias?
No.
Begonias?
No.
Potatoes?
No. Yep.
You got to be listening, Dave.
You're right.
Once you've mastered the plant varieties, you will need to broaden your education into the world of insects. There's a different one for every plant, and it can be a hoe handler's downfall.
Dave, I have a little trouble with insects in the backyard. Do you have anything for leafhoppers?
Yep.
How about pea-weevils?
Yep.
Sap beetles?
Yep.
Mites?
Yep.
Slugs?
Yep.
Snails?
Yep.
Cooties?
Yep. Nope.
Dave, what did I tell you before?
Once you've developed an expertise in planting, growing, and debugging, you are ready to strut your stuff. Easily the most satisfying of the total gardening experience.
So anyway, I did my homework on this thing, and I figured when the last frost was, so I planted the very next day. In a couple of months, with any luck, we're talking watermelons the size of a house. That's big. Yes. This is a fuchsia. Don't eat this. So, look where you may, you will not find a snail anywhere. Oh, that's a cootie. They had nothing for that.
But in the final harvest, gardening is a spiritual act, a sacred ceremony where men and women can touch life and watch it grow.
Someday this is gonna be one great salad.
A chance to look nature in the face and say, hi.
Only God can make a tree. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
If you want the scoop on gardening in your own backyard, join Jan and me on Thursday because we're going to go to the backyard of the man who wrote the book on urban gardening.
These tiny chicks, Harris chicks, are only 9 days old.
Now, just a moment ago, you saw Nancy Venizelos here at the Raptor program at the San Francisco Zoo using this puppet of a hawk to feed them. Now, you're familiar with the same thing that was done with the condor chicks in San Diego, right?
These condor chicks successfully hatched at the San Diego Zoo. And here at this zoo, by the way, they are having a special program wherein they hatch these chicks here, and then 90 days later, they let them go out into the wild.
And as Jan said, this particular species became extinct in California in the 50s, so we're trying to bring them back here, and the zoo has got a great program to do that. They're very good at it.
Stay with us now. You want to take a short break. Later in the program, we're going to meet our special friend, Pika, who has grown up now.
And we're going to go on something which has never been attempted before, a trip up Pikes Peak in a wheelchair.
Can't help but smile. Each passing mile brings my heart home to color and condition that should have been yours can be. Make it happen. Nice and easy. It sells the most, it conditions the most.
Just a minute.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
What a great day for golf.
No. We're going to Great America.
You made our day. You made us glad. And we're proud to have you for our dad. You're a great American, taking us here again. You're a great American dad. Coors to you. The clean of it. Coors to you. The fresh of it. Coors to you. The best of it. The best of the Rockies is yours.
The clean of the Rockies, the fresh of the Rockies, brewed the Coors way, natural and pure.
Coors to you. Clean of it all night through. The fresh of it. Rocky Mountain Gold, you've got it. The best of the Rockies is yours.
To a woman, a man shouldn't be the main course. He should be just dessert.
That's what psychologist Sonia Friedman says is a healthy attitude for women.
On our next People Are Talking, she'll reveal how making yourself a whole, independent woman first can actually attract better men.
Join Ann and Ross for People Are Talking tomorrow morning at 10 on Channel 5.
I have always thought giraffes were the most graceful of animals. I love to watch them. One thing about Dune Evening Magazine that I absolutely love is that we often can bring you inspiring stories about everyday people doing extraordinary things. This next story is one like that. We're going to meet a Vietnam vet in a wheelchair who decided to take on a great challenge to climb Pikes Peak in Colorado. Can he do it? Pikes Peak has never been challenged by a person in a wheelchair before. Evening's Ed Green takes us on this extraordinary climb.
Pikes Peak, the mightiest symbol of the Colorado Rockies, named after Zebulon Pike, who unsuccessfully attempted to climb the mountain in 1806. Since that time, many men have conquered its summit. Ken Billings wants to reach that pinnacle. It's been his dream for the past year and a half. But what's unique about Ken Billings is that he'll be the first man ever to attempt Pikes Peak in a wheelchair.
It's something that I was told couldn't be done. I think that's a lot of the reason. I would like to let younger people who have been tragically put into a wheelchair see that it's really possible to do the things you want to do.
Ken's training consists of a daily 3 to 5 mile run and a weekly 10-mile run.
The Pikes Peak thing has been a mental goal to help me be out on the road and give me a reason to really train and get feeling better.
You may be surprised to find out that Ken Billings was actually glad when his legs were replaced by wheels.
The problem is that the muscles and tendons in my legs seem to be drawing up. And it got to the point that it was literally breaking bones in there and structurally damaging the bones in my legs.
Ken was not born with a crippling disease, nor was he involved in a tragic accident. The doctors can't diagnose his condition, but, according to Ken, his troubles began after he returned from Vietnam.
Oh, nice, nice. It became a time when it was no longer to let's find the cause of the problem, but now it's just let's find a solution to the rest of my life.
For Ken, that solution was a wheelchair.
From the first day I got in a chair, my life became easier. I could go where I wanted to go, do what I wanted to do. And from then on, I knew there was no way I would go back on a habit of pain medication and pills.
Ken and his wife Jan had already experimented with a role reversal once before. But once Ken began using a wheelchair, they made a decision. Jan went to work full-time, and Ken became the house husband.
For me, I had to go through a little bit of changes, too. It was unusual for him to make me my coffee. I think that sometimes people will know that he is in a wheelchair or what have you, and they'll say, gosh, that's really a shame, that's too bad. And I don't look at it that way at all. I think that we're just very, very fortunate people because our family life is so close, and that's where it's all at.
Girls, come get the laundry.
And because his 3 daughters were behind him all the way, Ken set his mind on Pikes Peak.
Without that, I don't think I would have even considered it. It wouldn't have been a goal. But with 3 little girls, you always want to be something they can look up to.
Unless you have a goal to look at, no matter how impossible it may seem, you know, then there's nothing worthwhile. You've got to be able to look ahead and know that you're aiming at something, no matter what it is.
It is 14 miles straight up, 7,500 feet in elevation gain, more than any other mountain in Colorado. It takes most people on 2 legs 2 days to go up Pikes Peak by way of the Bar Trail.
How's our time? What time is it? 7:30. 7:30. Oh, super beautiful.
Attempting the hike along with Ken is John Wheeler, who owns Wheeler's Wheelchair Store.
He has a lot of drive and determination. He's going to make it, no question.
I think it's going to be, you know, the hardest thing he's ever done in his life.
When we first started, the immediate climbs were a little steeper than I anticipated. From about noon on, I noticed a lot more soreness in my shoulders than I expected. And just keeping my mind, just picking the next bend in the trail as a goal. Just little things became the goal rather than the whole mountain. It never really occurred to me, let's just quit because I'm too tired.
But as much as Ken relied on his own inner strength to keep pushing on, outside forces were pulling him back. Late afternoon, the rain came and turned the trail into slippery, wheel-grabbing quicksand.
About 4:30, 5 o'clock. It was late, it was staying cloudy. We were getting close to the cloud layer, and we were getting a lot of mist and steady off and on rain. And the trail was so bad that it literally, at that point, took both of us to hold the chair on the trail.
After 13 hours on the trail, the exhausted climbers collapsed inside an abandoned cabin.
Well, as tired as sore as I am, it's worth it just to get this far. I know I'm not gonna go on this morning. It's just too much, but how can you be sad? I mean, look at that. It's just beautiful.
Ken and John were able to ride down the mountain on the incline railway. They hadn't reached their goal, but there was no disappointment.
I think in my mind, I did prove one thing. It's not impossible. We got a third of the way, almost half the way that first day. If anybody can appreciate that a little bit, who wouldn't try anything, if it's the fact of trying to climb Pikes Peak or trying to learn to jump a curb, if that alone is enough to show people whatever they want to try it, go.
Well, Ken is not about to give up. On his climb, he met some Boy Scouts who said, "We'll carry your equipment, Ken, if you climb Pikes Peak again." And that's exactly what he intends to do this summer. Good luck, Ken. We think you can make it. Stay with us now. Evening, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have adorable Pico. We met her as a tiny baby, and now, boy, has she grown up.
It wasn't easy getting this crew to try a caffeine-free cola. They didn't want to give up taste, and they didn't with new Pepsi-Free. Leave it to Pepsi to make caffeine-free cola taste this terrific. Pepsi-Free. There's regular and sugar-free with 1 calorie. I knew they'd like it.
The taste is positively Pepsi and it's caffeine-free. Positively Pepsi-Free. Pepsi-Free.
Now through Sunday only at Macy's. Save on a big selection of menswear. You'll save 25% on Adidas warm-ups, on Macy's entire selection of Jansen tennis outfits, and on lightweight sporty jackets by London Fog and Pierre Cardin. You'll also save 25% on a fine collection of designer dress shirts and save 30% on Arrow golf shirts. Hurry for best selection. Shop now and save during the big menswear sale through Sunday only at all Macy's.
Wake up and shout hooray when you start out the day. To be a woman now is such a kick, and how
This month in Woman's Day, juicy new recipes for summer kebabbing, beginner designs for the most delicate embroidery, plus the ultimate summer beauty and health guide for sun worshippers.
You've got a friend along the way. Love being a woman. Have a great, great Woman's Day.
Tonight at 11 on Eyewitness News Nightcast, parts of Utah are bracing for more destructive floods tonight. Volunteers working around the clock to protect their property. At 11, we'll have an update on the situation there. Also tonight, the long dispute of the birthplace of the Martini is finally settled. Tonight, you'll find out which Bay Area city gets the honor. And the billboard sitters who have finally given up their post after more than 8 months. Find out what they got for their trouble tonight at 11, only on Channel 5.
The last time we were here at San Francisco Zoo, we were playing around with a little polar bear cub by the name of Pika. Remember that?
Pika was very tiny at the time. She liked you, I think I remember.
She liked my forearm. She would suck on my forearm, or just about anybody who'd offer one, I think. She ate a lot. She slept a lot.
And she grew a lot, too. Today, she's on display here, and she is a big polar bear cub.
Still growing, and loves to play with ice just as she did then.
Come down and see Pika, by the way, because
This is a very special month, right?
President Ronald Reagan has proclaimed this month National Zoo and Aquarium Month.
Now, if you'd like to find out more about zoo activities here or anything else you've seen on Eating Magazine, don't forget our hotline, 478-3555.
Now, tomorrow night...
Learn how to get thin thighs in 30 days. The author of the best-selling book will tell us how she came up with her unique diet. And you'll meet a man who became a star, a television commercial star. He still is a tugboat captain, both on TV and in real life.
And then we'll meet our cooking star, Chef Tao, who makes the #1 dish for us, sauerkraut and sausage.
Pika, we're going to leave playing in this ice until it melts, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Have a great evening, everybody. Good night.